tricks in my pocket. I have things up my sleeve, but I am the opposite of a stage magician. He gives you illusion which has the appearance of truth, and I give you truth in the pleasant disguise of illusion. To begin with, I turn back time. I reverse it to that quaint period, the 30s, when the huge middle class of America was matriculating in a school for the blind. Their eyes had failed them, or they had failed their eyes, and so were having their fingers pressed forcibly down on the fiery braille alphabet of a dissolving economy. In Spain, there was revolution. Here, there was only shouting and confusion. In Spain, there was Guernica. Here, there were disturbances of labor, sometimes pretty violent, in otherwise peaceful cities such as Chicago, Cleveland, and St. Louis. This is the social background of the play. The play is memory. Being a memory play, it is dimly lighted, it is sentimental, it is not realistic. In memory, everything seems to happen to music. That explains the fiddle in the wings. I am the narrator of the play and also a character in it. The other characters are my mother Amanda, my sister Laura, and a gentleman caller who appears in the final scenes. He is the most realistic character in the play, being an emissary from a world of reality that we were somehow set apart from. But since I have a poet's weakness for symbols, I use this character also as a symbol. He is the long-delayed, but always expected something that we live for. There is a fifth character in the play, but he only appears in this larger-than-life-size photograph. This is my father, who left us a long time ago. He was a telephone man who fell in love with long distances. He gave up his job with the telephone company and skipped the light fantastic out of town. The last we heard of him was a picture postcard from Mazatlan on the Pacific coast of Mexico containing a message of 2 words: hello, goodbye, and no address.
Out front, and in that was just one little lady. So I smiled at her very sweetly, and I said, "Excuse me, would you mind if I shared this pew?" "I certainly would," she said. "This space is rented." So first time I ever knew the Lord rented space. Northern Episcopalians. I can understand the Southern Episcopalians, but the Northern ones, no. Honey, don't push your food with your fingers. You must push your food with something. The thing to use is a crust of bread. Oh, Tom, you must chew your food. Honey, animals have secretions in their stomachs that allow them to digest their food without mastication. But human beings must chew their food before they swallow it down. Chew. Chew. Honey, eat leisurely. Eat leisurely. A well-cooked meal has many delicate flavors that must be held in the mouth for appreciation, not just gulp down. So chew. Chew. Don't you want to give your salivary glands a chance to function?
Mother, I have not enjoyed one bite of this dinner because of your constant directions on how to eat it. It's you that makes me rush through meals with your hawk-like attention to every bite I take. It's sickening. Spoils my appetite. All this discussion of animal secretions, salivary glands, mastication.
Temperament like a metropolitan stall. You're not excused from the table.
I'm getting a cigarette.
Smoke too much. Mother, I'll bring in the coffee. No. You sit down. You sit down. Now, I'm going to be the colored boy tonight, and you going to be the lady.
Well, no, I'm already up.
Well, resume your seat. Resume your seat. Keep yourself fresh and pretty for the gentleman callers.
I'm not expecting any gentlemen callers, Mother.
Oh, well, honey, the nice thing about them is sometimes they come when they are least expected. Why, I remember one Sunday afternoon in Blue Mountain when your mother was a girl. Such a convocation stomped on our porch with the chocolates and the bouquets.
You know what's coming.
Yes, but let her tell it.
Again?
She loves to tell it.
The rail like dust sitting on the lawn. And on that Sunday afternoon in Blue Mountain when your mother was a girl, she received 17 gentlemen callers. Sometimes there weren't enough chairs to accommodate them all, and we had to send the colored boy over to the parish house to fetch the folding chairs.
And how did you entertain those gentlemen callers?
Well, I happen to understand the art of conversation.
I bet you could talk.
Well, I could, I tell you. All the girls in my day could.
Yes?
Yes. We knew how to entertain our gentlemen callers. It's not enough for a girl to be possessed of a pretty face and a graceful figure. Although I wasn't slighted in either respect. But she also had to have a nimble wit and a tongue to meet all occasions.
What did you talk about?
Things of importance going on in the world. Well, never anything coarse or common or vulgar, because my callers were gentlemen, all. Some of the finest men on the Mississippi Delta. Planters and sons of planters. There was young Champ Laughlin. He later became vice president of a Delta Planters Bank. And the Cottrell brothers. Wesley and Bates. Now, Bates was one of my own bright, particular beaux. And he got into a fight with that wild Wainwright boy. They shot it out on the floor of the Moonlight Casino. Bates was shot right through the stomach. Died in the ambulance on the way to Memphis. He left his widow well provided for, too. 8 or 10,000 acres, no less. And he never loved that woman. She just caught him on the rebound. They found my picture on him the night he died. And that boy that every girl in the Delta had set her cap for. That beautiful, brilliant young Fitzy boy from Greene County.
What did he leave his widow?
He never married. What's the matter? You sound as if all my old admirers had turned up their toes to the daisies.
Well, isn't this the first one you mentioned that still survives?
Well, he made an awful lot of money. He went north to Wall Street, and he made a fortune. And I could have been Mrs. J. Duncan Fitzhugh, mind you. And what did I do? I just went out of my way and picked your father.
Mother, let me clear the dishes.
No. You go over there. You study your typewriter chart. You practice your shorthand a little. Keep yourself fresh and pretty, because it's almost time for our gentlemen callers to start arriving. Now, how many of you think we going to entertain today?
No, I don't believe that we'll be receiving any, Mother.
Not any? No one? Oh, you must be joking. Not one single gentleman caller? What's the matter? Has there been a flood or a tornado?
It's not a flood. It's not a tornado, Mother. I'm just not popular like you were in Blue Mountain. I was afraid I'm going to be an old maid. just...
Yes, you're just practicing your typing, I suppose.
Yes.
Deception, deception, deception.
How was the DAR meeting, Mother?
DAR meeting?
Didn't you go to the DAR meeting, Mother?
No, I didn't go to any DAR meeting. I didn't have the strength. I didn't have the courage. I just wanted to find a hole in the ground and crawl in and stay there for the rest of my entire life.
Why did you do that, Mother?
Why? Why? How old are you, Laura?
Mother, you know my age.
I was under the impression you were an adult. It seems I was entirely mistaken.
Please don't stare at me, Mother.
What are we going to do? What is going to become of us? What is the future?
Mother, has something happened? Has something happened, Mother?
I'll be all right in a minute. I am just bewildered by life.
Oh, Mother, I wish that you would tell me what has happened.
I went to the DAR, as you know. I was to be inducted as an officer. And I stopped by Rubicamp's Business College on the way to tell them about your code and ask how you were doing down there.
Oh?
Yes. Oh. Oh. I went straight to your typing instructor and I introduced myself as your mother. She didn't know who you were. Wingfield, she said, well, we don't have any such scholar enrolled in this school. I assured her she did. I said, why, my daughter Laura has been coming here since early January. I don't know, she said, unless you mean that terribly shy little girl that dropped out after only a few days' attendance. No, I said, I don't mean that one. I mean my daughter Laura, who's been coming here every single day for the past 6 weeks. Well, excuse me, she said. And she got down the attendance record. And there was your name. Unmistakable, printed, and every time you had been absent. And I still told her she was wrong. I said, oh, no, there must be some mistake. There must be some mix-up in the records. Oh, no, she said, I remember her perfectly now. She was so shy. And her hands shook so that her fingers wouldn't strike the right keys. And then when we gave a speed test, she just fell apart completely and was sick at her stomach and had to be carried to the washroom. After that, she never came back anymore. We called the house every day, but we never got any answer. That's when I was working all day long, I suppose, down at that department store, demonstrating those... I was so weak. I couldn't stand up. I had to sit down while they gave me a glass of water. $50 tuition. It's not even the money so much, but it's all my hopes for any kind of a future for you. Just going up the spout, just going up the spout like, Laura, don't you play that Victrola. Now, what have you been doing every day when you have gone out of this house telling me you were going to business college?
I just went out walking.
That's not true.
Yes, it is, Mother. I just went walking.
Walking? Walking? In winter, deliberately coating pneumonia in that light coat? Now, where were you walking to?
All sorts of places, mostly in the park.
Oh, honey, even after you started catching that cold?
Mother, it was the lesser of two evils. I couldn't go back. I threw up on the floor.
So from 7:30 in the morning till after 5 in the afternoon, you mean to tell me you went walking around in the park in order to make me believe you were still going to business college?
Mother, it wasn't as bad as it sounds. I went inside places to get warmed up.
Inside where?
I went to the art museum and the birdhouse at the zoo. I visited the penguins every day. Some days I did without lunch and I went to the movies, but lately in the afternoons I've been going to that place called the Jewel Box. That big glass house where they raise the tropical flowers.
Honey, you did all this to deceive me? For deception? Now why? Why? Laura, why?
Mother, when you are disappointed, you get that awful suffering look on your face, like the picture of Jesus' mother in the museum. I couldn't face it. I couldn't. So, what are we going to do now, honey? All the rest of our lives? We just going to sit down in this house and watch the parades go by? Amuse ourselves with a little glass menagerie? Eternally play those worn-out phonograph records your father left us, a painful reminder of him? Can't have a business career. No, we can't do that. That just gives us indigestion. So what is there left for us but dependency all our lives? No, honey, I know so well what happens to unmarried women who are not prepared to occupy a position in life. I've seen such pitiful examples of it in the South. Barely tolerated spinsters living on some brother's wife or sister's husband, tucked away in some little mousetrap of a room, encouraged by one in-law to go on visit another in-law. Little bird-like women without any nest, eating the crust of humility all their lives. Now, is that the future we have mapped out for ourselves? I swear I don't see any other alternative. I don't think that's a very pleasant alternative. Of course, some girls do marry. My goodness, Laura, have you ever liked some boy? Yes. Yes, Mother, I liked one once. You did? I came across his picture a while ago. He gave you his picture, too? Oh no, it's in the yearbook. Oh, it was a high school boy. Yes. His name was Jim. Here he is in the Pirates of Penzance. What? The operetta the senior class put on. He had a wonderful voice. I used to sit across the aisle from him Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays in the auditorium. Here he is with a silver cup for debate. You see his grin. So he had a grin, too. He used to call me Blue Roses. Now, why did he call you such a silly name as that? When I had that attack of pleurosis and I was out of school for a while, when I came back, he asked me what the matter was, and I said pleurosis, only he thought that I said blue roses. So that's what he always called me after that. Whenever he would see me, he'd holler, "Hello, Blue Roses." Well, I never cared very much for the girl that he went out with, Emily Meisenbach. Now, she was the best-dressed girl at Salden, but she never struck me as being sincere. I read once in the newspaper that they were engaged. That was a long time ago. They're probably married by now. Oh, that's all right, honey. It's all right. You know, sometimes when little girls are not cut out for business careers, they end up married to very nice young men. And I'm just going to see that you do that, too. Mother. What? I'm crippled. Hush. Don't use that word. How many times have I told you never to use that word? You are not crippled. You just have a little defect. Now, if you lived in the days when I was a girl and we went out to dances every night,
And we had those long, graceful skirts sweeping the ground. Might even have been considered an asset. Honey, when you have a little disadvantage like that, you just have to cultivate something else to take its place. You have to cultivate charm or vivacity or charm. That's the one thing your father had plenty of.
After the fiasco at the Rubicam's Business College, the idea of getting a gentleman caller for Laura began to play a more and more important part in Mother's calculations. It became an obsession. Late that winter and in the early spring, realizing that extra money would be needed to properly feather the nest and plume the bird, she began conducting a vigorous campaign on the telephone, roping in subscribers to one of those magazines for matrons called the Homemaker's Companion, the type of journal which features the serialized sublimation of ladies of letters who think in terms of delicate cup-like breasts, slim tapering waists, rich creamy thighs, eyes like wood smoke in autumn, fingers that soothe and caress like strains of music, bodies as powerful as Etruscan sculpture.
Ida Scott? Oh, this is Amanda Wingfield. Well, now, Ida, I have just been looking at my little red book here, and I see where your subscription to the Companion is just about to run out. And it's just when that wonderful new serial by Bessie Harper starting. It's the first thing she's written since Honeymoon for Three, and that was unusual, you know. Well, Ida, this one is even lovelier. It's all about the house they set on Long Island, and this debutante is thrown from a horse while she's taking him over the jumps in the regatta. Well, her spine is injured. And that's what the horse said. He stepped on her. And the only surgeon in the whole wide world who can keep her from being permanently paralyzed is the man she's engaged to be married to. And he's tall, and he's blonde, and he's... What? Oh, no, honey, don't let him burn you. Just go on, you take a look in the oven. I'll just sit here and hold on. You know what that woman did? She hung up on me. Son? Shh. Do me a favor.
What?
Comb your hair. Well, you look so pretty when your hair is combed. There's only one respect in which I would like for you to emulate your father.
What respect is he?
The care he took of his person. He never allowed himself to be untidy.
Mother, please go busy yourself with something else. I'm trying to...
Sit up straight so your shoulders don't stick out like sparrows. Yeah. Now, you know, I have seen a medical chart, and I know what that posture does to your internal organs. If you sit up, I'll show you. You see, your stomach presses in on your lungs, then your lungs press in on your heart, and then your poor little heart gets discouraged because it doesn't have any room left to go on beating for you.
What in Christ's name am I supposed to do?
Don't you dare talk to me like that. What is the matter with you? Have you gone out of your senses?
Yes, I have. That's true. You've driven me out of them.
What is the matter with you lately, you big idiot?
Look, Mother, I have got no single thing in this house that I can call my own.
No, you've always...
Yesterday, you confiscated my books. You had the nerve.
I certainly did. I took that awful novel back to the library, that horrible book by that insane Mr. Lawrence. Well, I can't control the output of a diseased mind, all the people that cater to it, but I won't have that filth in my house. No.
House?
No.
House? Who pays the rent on the house? Who makes a slave of himself?
Don't you dare talk to me
No, that's
like
true, Mother.
that.
I mustn't say things.
No,
I just got to keep my mouth shut.
Let me tell you something.
I don't want to hear anymore.
Well, you are going to hear more.
I will not hear more. I am going out.
You are going to listen to me.
Out! Out! Out!
You are going to listen to me. You are going to listen to me. I have had enough of your impudence. And another thing, I am just at the end of my patience.
And what do you think I'm at, Mother? Aren't I supposed to have any patience to reach the end of? I know it seems unimportant to you, Mother, what I'm doing, what I want to do. Having a little difference between them, you don't think that.
No, I think you're doing something you're ashamed of, and that's why you're acting like this. Well, I don't believe that you go every night to the movies. Nobody goes to the movies night after night. Nobody in their right mind goes to the movies as often as you pretend to. And people do not go to movies at almost midnight, and movies do not let out at 2 a.m. And you come in here stumbling and muttering to yourself like a maniac, and you get 3 hours sleep, and then you go to work. Now, I can imagine what you're doing down there, moping and doping because you are in no condition.
No, that is true, Mother. I am in no condition.
Tom, how dare you jeopardize your job and jeopardize our security? Now, how do you think we would manage if anything
Listen, Mother, do you think I'm crazy about the warehouse? Do you think that I am in love with the Continental shoemakers? Do you think I want to spend 55 years down in that Celotex interior with fluorescent tubes? Look, Mother, I would just rather somebody pick up a crowbar and batter out my brains than go back mornings. But I go. Every morning that you come in yelling that goddamned rise and shine, I think to myself how lucky dead people are. But I get up. I go. $65 a month. I give up all that I ever dreamed of doing and being ever. And yet you say that self is all I think of. Listen to me, Mother. Self is what I thought of. I would be where he is. Gone. As far as the system of transportation reaches. Don't grab at me, Mother.
I'm not grabbing you. I just want to know where you're going.
I am going to the movies.
I don't believe that lie.
No? Well, you're right, Mother. I'm going to opium dens. Yes, Mother, opium dens. Dens of vice and criminals' hangouts, Mother. I am a hired assassin. I joined the Hogan gang. I carry a Tommy gun in a violin case, and I run a string of cat houses in the valley. They call me Killer. Killer Wingfield. See, I'm leading a double life, really. A simple, honest warehouse worker by day, but by night, a dynamic czar of the underworld, Mother. I go to gambling casinos. I just spin away a fortune on the relay table, Mother. I wear a patch over one eye and a false mustache, and sometimes I put on green whiskers. On those occasions, they call me El Diablo. I could tell you many things to make you sleepless, Mother. My enemies plan to dynamite this place some night. They are gonna blow us all sky high. And will I be glad? I'll be very happy. And so will you be. You will go up, up, up over Blue Mountain on a broomstick with 17 gentlemen callers. You ugly, babbling old witch.
I will never speak to you again as long as I live, unless you apologize to me.
Looking for a door key.
Where you been all this time?
I've been to the movies.
All this time at the movies.
This was a very long program. There was a Garbo picture and a newsreel and a Mickey Mouse and a travelogue and a preview of coming attractions. There was an organ solo and a collection for the Milk Fund simultaneously, which ended up in a terrible fight between a fat lady and an usher.
Did you have to stay through everything?
Of course. Oh, and I forgot. There was a stage show. No, the headliner on this stage show was Malvolio, the magician. He performed wonderful tricks, and many of them such as pouring water back and forth between two pitchers. First, it turned into wine, then it turned into beer, then it turned into whiskey. Now, I know that it was whiskey that it finally turned into because he needed someone to come up out of the audience to help him, so I came up both shows. It was Kentucky straight bourbon, a very generous fellow. He gave souvenirs. This is his magic scarf. You can have it, Laura. You wave it over a canary cage. They turn into a bowl of goldfish. And you wave it over a goldfish bowl, and they fly away, canaries. But the wonderfulest trick of all was the coffin trick. No, we nailed him into a coffin, and he got himself out without removing one nail. Now, there is a trick that would come in handy for me. Get me out of this 2x4 situation.
Shh, Tom. Shh, Tom.
What are you shushing me for?
You'll wake up Mother.
Goody, goody. Pay her back for all those rise and shines, rise and shines. You know, Laura, it don't take much intelligence to get yourself into a nailed-up coffin. But whoever got himself out of one without removing at least one nail?
Rise and shine, rise and shine.
I'll rise, but I won't shine.
Laura, go tell your brother to rise and shine. Go tell your brother his coffee's ready.
Tom? Tom? It's nearly 7. Don't let Mother notice. Tom, speak to Mother this morning. Make up with her. Apologize. Speak to her.
She won't to me. It's her that started not speaking.
If you would only say that you're sorry, she'd start speaking.
Her not speaking, is that such a tragedy?
Please, Tom.
Laura, are you going to do what I asked, or do I have to get dressed and go out myself?
Going. I just have to get on my coat. Butter and what else?
Just butter and tell him to charge it.
Mother, they make such faces when I do that.
Sticks and stones may break our bones, but the expression on Mr. Garfinkel's face won't harm him. Tell your brother his coffee's getting cold.
Tom, do what I ask, will you?
Laura,
Will you,
go
Tom?
now or just don't go at all.
Going.
Laura?
Laura?
No, I'm all right. I slipped, but I'm all right.
Lord, if anybody falls down this land and it breaks their leg, the landlord ought to be sued for everything he's got. Well, who are you?
Mother? I apologize, Mother. I'm sorry for what I said, for everything that I said. I didn't mean it.
My devotion has made me a witch, so I make myself hateful to my children.
No, you don't.
Well, I worry so much, I can't sleep, so it just makes me nervous.
I know that, Mother.
Tom, now you know I have had to fight a solitary battle all these years. But you are my right-hand bow. Now don't you fail me. Don't you fall down.
But I try, Mother.
Tom, if you try, you will succeed. You are just full of natural endowments. Well, honey, both of my children are. They're just very precious children, and I have so much to be thankful for. But now, would you just promise me one thing?
What, Mother?
Will you promise me that you won't ever become a drunkard?
I promise I'll never become a drunkard, Mother.
Come on, have some farina.
No, thanks, Mother. Just coffee.
Oh, some post toasties, some Wheaties?
No. No, thanks, Mother. Just coffee.
Honey, you can't work all day long on an empty stomach. Now, you got 10 minutes. Tom, now don't go, honey. Drinking too hot liquid makes cancer of the stomach. Now, here, put some milk in it.
No, thanks.
Well, just to cool it off.
No, thank you, Mother. I want a glass.
I know, but it's not good for you like that. Well, you know, and we have to build ourselves up in these trying times we live in. And all we have to depend on is each other. And that's why it's so important to... Tom, here, sit down. Come sit down, honey. Move your cover. Tom, now, I sent out your sister because I wanted to discuss something with you. You hadn't spoken to me. I was going to speak to you.
Well, what is it, Mother, that you want to discuss?
Laura.